Hello, everyone, and welcome to Faith God Love Channel. It has been quite the summer. Um, for those of you that have been following along, I'm sure you may have realized that I have taken a few um, weeks off and away from the study. I have been working on some other things at this time which needed my attention. So please forgive me for that. If you are still reading on your own, more props to you for sure. Um, that's something that's most encouraged when I create these videos because it's meant for you to do it on your own and in your own time. But if you want to follow along, you are more than welcome to. And I appreciate that along with, any support you want to add as well. So let's go ahead and begin for today. I hope everyone is having a good summer. If you're dealing with something that's difficult, I hope that you know, seek, you know, God and, go to Him first for most things in your life. Um, and I pray that, friends, family, and anyone that is near you that, may be able to assist you in a better way than through like miles or miles away, like in a video. But hopefully, I can open somebody's eyes as well to that as well. So back to the Bible. For those of you that have been following along, I've been using this English Standard Version. And I left off on, I kept the bookmark, so that's good. Daniel. I'm on Daniel. Okay. Daniel has roughly, I'm counting the sections right now. Looks like 12 sections. It's not too long. Okay, so far in the beginning of Daniel, it refers to Daniel and his dreams and Nebuchadnezzar. Um, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it refers to him as well. A lot of visions and dreams. Okay, so I'm going to read the very beginning of Daniel right here. So it says, 1. Daniel taken to Babylon. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand with some of the vessels of the house of God, and he brought them to the land of Shinar, to the house of his God, and placed the vessels in the treasury of his God. Then the king commanded Ashpenaz, his chief eunuch, to bring some of the people of Israel, both of the royal family and of nobility, youths without blemish, of good appearance, and skillful in all wisdom, endowed with knowledge, understanding, learning, and competent to stand in the king's palace, and to teach them the literature and language of the Chaldeans. The king assigned them a daily portion of the food that the king ate and of the wine that he drank. They were to be educated for 3 years, and at the end of the time, they were to stand before the king. Among these were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah of the tribe of Judah, and the chief of the eunuchs gave them names. Daniel he called Belteshazzar, Hananiah he called Shadrach, Mishael he called Meshach, and Azariah he called Abednego. As we continue on through section 1, it brings me to the title, Daniel's Faithfulness. But Daniel resolved that he would not defile himself with the king's food, or with the wine that he drank. Therefore he asked the chief of the eunuchs to allow him not to defile himself. And God gave Daniel favor and compassion in the sight of the chief of the eunuchs. And the chief of the eunuchs said to Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who assigned your food and your drink, for why should he see that you were in worse condition than the youths who are your own age? So you would endanger my head with the king. Then Daniel said to the steward whom the chief of the eunuchs had assigned over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, test your servants for 10 days. Let us be given vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then let our appearance and the appearance of the youths who eat the king's food be observed by you, and deal with your servants according to what you see. So he listened to them in this matter and tested them for 10 days. At the end of the 10 days, it was seen that they were better in appearance and fatter in flesh than all the youths who ate the king's food. So the steward took away their food and the wine, and they were to drink, and gave them vegetables. As for these 4 youths, God gave them learning and skill in all literature and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. At the end of time, when the king had commanded that they should be brought in, the chief of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar, and the king spoke with them, and among all of them none was found like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore they stood before the king, and in every matter of wisdom and understanding about which the king inquired of them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and enchanters that were in his kingdom. And Daniel was there until the first year of King Cyrus. Okay, so then it goes into section 2, Nebuchadnezzar's dream. And then God reveals something in his dream. Daniel interprets the dream. Daniel is promoted. talks about the king's golden image. Next, I'm going to go ahead and read about Daniel and the lion's den. Section 6. It says, "It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 satraps, to be throughout the whole kingdom, and over them 3 high officials, of whom Daniel was one, to whom these satraps should give account, so that the king might suffer no loss. Then this Daniel became distinguished above all other high officials and satraps, because an excellent spirit was in him. And the king planned to set him over the whole kingdom. Then the high officials and the satraps sought to find a ground for complaint against Daniel with regard to the kingdom. But they could find no ground for complaint or any fault, because he was faithful, and no error or fault was found in him. Then these men said, 'We shall not find any ground for complaint against this Daniel unless we find it in connection with the law of his God.' Then these high officials and satraps came by agreement to the king and said to him, 'O King Darius, live forever. All the high officials of the kingdom, the prefects and the satraps, the counselors and the governors are agreed that the king should establish an ordinance and enforce an injunction that whoever makes petition to any god or man for 30 days, except to you, O king, shall be cast into the den of the lions. Now, O king, establish the injunction and sign the document, so that it cannot be changed according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which cannot be revoked.' Therefore King Darius signed the document and injunction. When Daniel knew that the document had been signed, he went to his house, where he had windows in his upper chamber open toward Jerusalem. He got down on his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God, as he had done previously. Then these men came by agreement and found Daniel making petition and plea before his God. Then they came near and said before the king concerning the injunction, 'O king, did you not sign an injunction that anyone who makes petition to any god or man within 30 days, except to you, O king, shall be cast into the den of the lions?' The king answered and said, 'The thing stands fast, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which cannot be revoked.' Then they answered and said before the king, 'Daniel, who is one of the exiles from Judah, pays no attention to you, O king, or the injunction you have signed, but makes his petition 3 times a day.' Then the king, when he heard these words, was much distressed and set his mind to deliver Daniel. And he labored till the sun went down to rescue him. Then these men came by agreement to the king and said to the king, 'Know, O king, that it is law of the Medes and Persians that no injunction or ordinance that the king establishes can be changed.' Then the king commanded, and Daniel was brought and cast into the den of the lions. The king declared to Daniel, 'May your God, whom you serve continually, deliver you.' And a stone was brought and laid on the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet and with a finger of his lord's, that nothing might be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went to his palace and spent the night fasting. No diversions were brought to him, and sleep fled from him. Then, at the break of day, the king arose and went in haste to the den of the lions. As he came near the den where Daniel was, he cried out in a tone of anguish. The king declared to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to deliver you from the lions? Then Daniel said to the king, O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the lion's mouth, and they have not harmed me, because I was found blameless before him. And also before you, O king, I have done no harm. Then the king was exceedingly glad, and commanded that Daniel be taken up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no kind of harm was found on him, because he had trusted in his God. And the king commanded, and those men who had maliciously accused Daniel were brought and cast into the den of the lions, they, their children, and their wives. And before they reached the bottom of the den, the lions overpowered them and broke all their bones in pieces. Then King Darius wrote to all the peoples, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied to you. I make a decree that in all my royal dominion people are to tremble and feet before the God of Daniel. For he is the living God, enduring forever. His kingdom shall never be destroyed, and his dominion shall be to the end. He delivers and rescues. He works signs and wonders in heaven and on earth. He who has saved Daniel from the power of the lions. So this Daniel prospered during the reign of Darius and the reign of Cyrus the Persian. So as you can see, some of the king's officials was desperately trying to look for something against Daniel. Um, you know, it's one of those things where you're looking for something that isn't there. And it's pretty sad that the lengths they went just to get um, more like praise to the king of the land rather than God. The lengths that they would do or go, excuse me. And they set almost like a law, like within 30 days you couldn't, you know, pay any tribute to God and whatnot. And so his punishment, that was all in the creation of the officials of the king, was all created by them and not of God. Um, that's pretty sad that he had to go through that all on account of a person, like these people around the king. And what's interesting is, Daniel survived while he was placed inside the lion's den. They didn't mess with him. And, when the king was, worried and sleepless, restless, so to speak, and he checked the lion's den and to find out that he was okay, it was almost as if, there was a sign of relief. Because the king even knew, better. Um, in a way, though, when the king, um, placed those officials that created this 30-day, you know, situation for the king, it didn't do anything. It actually created, something harsh and um, not too, promising or life giving. Their lives were taken away by these lions, by the power of the lions. Um, that's quite the ending. Um, I'm going to continue on. I'm going to see if there is a another section I can read off to you. Oh, I'll read the section of um, 12. It's actually the very last section. It says, the time of the end. 12. At the time shall arise Michael, the great prince, who has charge of your people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never has been since there was a nation till that time. But at that time your people shall be delivered, everyone whose name shall be found written in the book, and many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And those who are wise shall shine like the brightness of the sky above, and those who turn many to righteousness, like the stars forever and ever. But you, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book until the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, the knowledge shall increase. Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, two others stood, one on this bank of the stream, and one on the bank of the stream. And someone said to the man clothed in linen, who was above the waters of the stream, how long shall it be till the end of these wonders? And I heard the man clothed in linen, who was above the waters of the stream. He raised his right hand and his left hand toward heaven and swore by him who lives forever that it would be for a times, and a half, and half a time, and that when the shattering of the power of the holy people comes to an end, all these things would be finished. I heard, but I did not understand. Then I said, O my Lord, what shall be the outcome of these things? He said, go your way, Daniel, for the words are shut up and sealed until the time of the end. Many shall purify themselves and make themselves white and be refined, but the wicked shall act wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand. But those who are wise shall understand. And from the time that the regular burnt offering is taken away, and the abomination that makes desolate is set up, there shall be 1,290 days. Blessed is he who waits and arrives at the 1,335 days. But go your way till the end, and you shall rest and shall stand in your allotted place at the end of the days. Now, for this section, I'm sure it contributes to the entire story. So please go ahead and read the entire section of Daniel with the king and the visions and dreams and everything combined to get the full picture of what's going on here. So that concludes this um, section of the Bible. Um, all that I ask is that with this conclusion, you go ahead and check out the About section of this channel and take a look at the GoFundMe link. That link is there for a reason, and it's for someone that I know that is dealing with a very difficult situation in life, and any support is appreciated and needed during this time. So if you have a moment, please take a look, and that's basically the message for today. So thank you, and have a wonderful Sunday, summer. Enjoy the day. and make sure you bring God with you. Take care.